So I want to give back. I've sat in a lot of groups, and I've had a lot of teachers, good and bad. I've been more facilitators, guides, teachers, sort of this hierarchical thing sometimes. And this group particularly, like when COVID started, I had a story running for myself that I'm a hermit. I do what I need to do, but then I go back to my little room and isolate. In the last house, Bernie might have even seen some of that in the Capitola Roadhouse. And then this group, in the larger group, when COVID started and started seeing like, oh, the empaths are coming together, and then the divine hand brought us all together. So this is a very high level group, in that I remember leaving every night going, if we didn't have the group we had, then that point that Bernie made never would have got brought up, and never would have asked her the question that elevated the group to this level. And so the group was willing to meet the sort of prompts I was bringing. As some of the groups I've been in, just some incredible facilitation and risk taking from the facilitator. Some risk taking that would actually that could have humiliated people, but instead of humiliating a person, like throwing water on someone's face, for example, in front of 50 men, I saw that happen. And you think you got together, huh? You got together, huh? You got together now? And then watching this man clenching his fists, getting ready to punch him, but then looking around at all the elders, because it was part of this guy's hero's journey. Looking around at all the men, clenching his fist, getting ready to punch the guy, and he let his hands go, and he goes, "Yeah, I'm fine. I've still got it together." And that was his test. Can you be okay in the middle of a trigger? That's what he did. He threw the water up. The guy wouldn't let himself fall apart. Right. And I feel like being given permission, especially as a facilitator, to not be perfect and fall apart and get answers outside of self too, because that's the group mind thing. So I want to put it back to anyone who would want to lead this. You teach what you want to learn. We were talking about earlier, right? So if you want to learn how to facilitate others, this is how you do it. You jump in the fire and just start doing it, and you're not going to be perfect, but you let the group guide you. See, and the group prompts come in. So I'm really enthused, and I'm really, really enthused about the potential of this being a portal into health, because health means the same thing as yoga. It means wholeness. And I discovered that, and I went, oh my God, alchemy, which is the root of what I do, health alchemy, is going to become a ministry of some sort, in that it's a nature-based, faith-based, nature-based religion. And that's what we're going to roll this thing into. It's not religion and faith based in giving belief of power in an external entity. It's belief and faith in our own inside is going to guide us to the proper place. See, that's the faith that used to be called gnosis, Gnosis. That's what Jesus was. He was a Gnostic, a Essene. And then a lot of them were slaughtered. More than you'll ever imagine. Adyashanti and I have researched this. Millions of Gnostic Christians were slaughtered because they knew directly, and they had to get it externalized to the priests, see? So they slaughtered, they've been doing it for 2,000 years. They've been slaughtering all the Gnostics. And this is the end stage. COVID's the end stage of that, right? We're gonna get rid of these sensitive people because they're tapped into something we don't understand. Questioning David in court. They don't understand, right? They just don't get it. How do you operate the way you do? We don't get you, because we're coming from way over here in this limited little place. You're coming from this very large place, right? So what we're trying to do is just each of your testimonials is part of that. Mine used to be, I was this big, now I'm this big. And now I'm this big, and I'm this big. And then hopefully you don't stop. You don't camp out somewhere and go, I'm going to stay this big. I feel safe right here, this big. Don't do that. Keep going.